Welcome in to Fired Up episode 14. We're live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter right now. Figured all that stuff out finally for once. So, my name's Mike Giletto. Joining me, as always, is Dom Console. Dom, what's going on, man?
Not much, man. I'm fighting a cold here, so you got to hang with me.
Hey, that's perfectly fine. Playing through the elements here.
You know me. Tough as they come, baby. Tough as nails.
Exactly. Hey, there you go. Dude, we had a busy week in Flyerland. Huh? We're not just fired up. We are flyered up.
Oh, but I'm bummed.
There we go. But there's a ton that happened. We got a lot to talk about.
Absolutely. Bunch of trades, bunch of rumors, speculations. It's always good to have the Flyers, back in that in those discussions.
Absolutely. I mean, it started with the whole expansion list. Cause I think when we did our last week's show, the expansion list came out, and well, it really wasn't much surprise. We thought one of JVR, Voracek, Ghost were going to get taken. We thought that was almost very likely, and if not, maybe Rubtsov was going to be a distant, possibility. Nobody expected Carson Twarynski. Nobody.
No, absolutely not.
You know what I mean? So they go completely off the board and take him. I don't think anybody. I don't think anybody from the Flyers are really upset about losing a guy like Twarynski.
No, and I also saw after the expansion draft, obviously Dave Haxel's, he was with the Flyers for a couple of years, and he was always a big Carson Twarynski fan. So that it doesn't surprise me as much now, but definitely when it happened, I was definitely caught off guard.
Absolutely. I mean, I understand the Seattle's trying not to take on money, right? Like that makes sense, but they essentially went with an AHL player. Like Twarynski, he's either a fourth liner at best, or he's a top 6 AHL guy. And they were like, we don't want your your high priced guys. We'll just take this guy. It's basically the same as not taking anybody at all. It was.
Do you think there was better talent? Other than JVR and Voracek and Hag and who was the 4th and 5th guy? Ghost and who was the last guy?
Voracek,
Braun.
JVR, Braun, right.
Yeah. So aside from those 5 guys, was there better talent you think that they could have taken?
Yeah. I mean, the best of the bunch is probably, and I shit on him all the time. The best of the bunch is probably Voracek. He's just got.
Say besides those 5 guys.
Besides those guys,
Yeah.
No, there really isn't anybody there. I mean, Twarynski's maybe if after you rattle off 5 or 6 names, maybe you get to Twarynski eventually.
Right.
After the 4 or 5 guys, but just with those 5, I mean, again, I think Rubtsov would have been a better pick. I mean, Rubtsov was a first round pick only 4 years ago, something like that. So he's still, I mean, he has talent, just can't figure it out. And I actually like Rubtsov, the little that we've seen him of preseason. Like he brings energy, he hits everything that moves. So I thought he was a safer pick than Twarynski personally. So that one caught me off guard.
Right, for sure. And I definitely, seeing all the speculation and discussions about, who Seattle was going to take from the Flyers, we were definitely expecting that Voracek, JVR, even Hag or something, Definitely wasn't seeing that.
Yeah, but Seattle, again, they went out of their way to not get high-priced guys. Like, they had Carey Price was on the board. They didn't go him. Tarasenko was on the board. They didn't go him. There were Jonathan Quick. Yeah, I mean, there was a bunch of good players, good, talented players, and they just didn't want to touch the high-priced guys. And I don't blame them.
I mean, it's clear what they're doing.
Yeah. They're in for a long rebuild. They're not doing the same thing as the Knights.
Okay, so now that it's hockey, it's a long rebuild. It's not a tank.
Okay. First off, I guess it's not technically. First off, I guess it's not technically a rebuild if they're brand new. This is just a build. They're not rebuilding. They're just building.
Right. Yeah, they didn't knock anything down. It's an empty lot. Right. They're building.
Exactly. They're just building. That's all they're doing. That's good. So yeah, and then as soon as the trade freeze, as soon as the trade started opening back up, we saw the Flyers. It's hard for me to call it a big one because they didn't get anything in return, but a pretty important trade for the next couple of trades that happen after, when trading away Ghost, a second round pick, and a 7th round pick to Arizona for literally nothing. Literally nothing.
Yeah, I mean, we were texting about it, and you told me about it, as it was happening, and I said, oh, because at first we thought they were getting a second and a seventh.
Yeah.
That was reported first.
Yeah, Elliot Freeman.
And then about a half hour later,
Elliot Freeman reported on it first, saying, "Oh, the Philly got a second and a seventh for Gostisbehere," and then like 5 or 10 minutes later, he tweets out, he's like, "No, I got that backwards, or I got the picks wrong. Philly's giving up a second and a seventh."
Right. So I we were texting at that point, and I was like, "So what did they get?" And you were like, "Nothing," and I was like, "Well, then how's it a trade?"
Right.
The NHL is wild sometimes, man.
Yeah, it is, because I mean he just didn't have value. He had negative value is what it boils down to. Arizona didn't want to bring on Ghost's contract, and Arizona did that with a couple guys. I mean they've done it for a while. They took Datsuk years back. They took Pronger's contract years back,
right,
just to eat money and get assets. They did it with Andrew Ladd right before they did it with Ghost. So they're just building up with picks, but it's just Ghost value around the league. He just didn't have any. I mean, you saw it in the season, in the regular season. They put him on waivers like multiple times, and nobody claimed him.
Right? Yeah, you don't have to persuade me about his talents. I'm not a fan.
Yeah, so. Like he has talent. Like there's no denying that. He's battled injuries, which has hurt him, because he's somebody that really relies on speed in his game, and when he had like the core injury, the core muscle injury, he had a couple just lower body stuff he was dealing with, and it messed with his speed. And when his speed's not there, his game's off.
Right, I would say he's a probably one of the most talented offensive defensemen in the game. Could be, but I just think he's just a very shifty guy, and that was really everything.
Yeah. For sure.
So
and then go ahead.
On the defensive side, he was almost always a liability.
He was, exactly. So, like that's the thing, is you never really expected him to be a shutdown defenseman, but when the offensive game started to falter a little bit, he was completely useless, because in the defensive zone he couldn't defend and he couldn't score. And then his confidence was getting shot. He was always in the trade rumors, and he was always that was always on his mind, and you could tell it definitely hurt him and hurt his confidence.
No, for sure. Absolutely. It's a shame, because he seems like a good guy. And I remember when he first came here, it was, I never want to have to buy a beer in this city again. Like those were I'm paraphrasing.
Right.
Those were basically his words. And after having that rookie season, hearing that, you're like, wow, let's keep this guy around for the next 10 plus years. And, it just kind of hasn't worked out, just from everything you just said, just always being in rumors and talks and trades and going through waivers and just not really being very good defensively or offensively.
Yeah, it just hasn't worked out for whatever reason.
I wish him nothing but the best of luck too. I mean,
for sure.
I'm not a big fan, but I don't want to not see the guy succeed. So.
No, you never want to see that.
Right.
So, all right. And then I think it was a day later. I think it was the next day. They make a very polarizing trade, I would say. Trading. Let me see if I can read this off. Just traded Robert Hagg, 13th overall pick, a 2023 second round pick to Buffalo for Rasmus Ristolainen, defenseman out of Buffalo. Now, a lot of people don't like Ristolainen. He's got I know the trade. Everybody was crushing the trade, right? He's got very bad analytics. The advanced analytics community hates him. He was the anchor in Buffalo, but he's got size. He plays physical. He plays a mean game. He's probably not gonna fight anybody. I mean, he will if he has to, but he's not a big fighter in that sense. But he's gonna use the body. And this team just got pushed around the last few years. They've just been getting pushed around way too easily, and this move helps them. It helps them just play the more physical game. It makes it harder for the opponent to play.
For sure, and I think that a lot of people in the Flyers community as fans, they all kind of, and I agree with them, that giving up the 13th overall pick is a lot. I mean, for a guy like Ristolainen. Now, on top of that, he's 26 years old.
Right.
He's the first what 3 or 4 years of his career, he was pretty good. He wasn't a bad defense. He was a pretty good defenseman.
Really good, yeah.
Yeah, and then the last couple of years, when that's what got him the big contract. He got a big contract, and he hasn't really lived up to it. So, maybe he can still be that guy. He's 26 years old. He's playing on a contract year.
Yep. Which can scare me if he does have a great year. If he does have a great year, and just because it is the contract year and he gets paid and then he isn't that same player next year, that can be a bad thing.
Absolutely, but I hear that, and it is a little worrisome, but I think that he wasn't used correctly in Buffalo. Like he was used as a top defenseman. Maybe he's not that guy.
He's not.
Maybe he's that second pairing defenseman. He's got a little bit of offensive to his game, right? He
does. Yeah, he scored. I just had it up. He scored. Right. So he scored 40 points, 4 times, and would have had it 40 in 2019, 2020, but he got cut short. I think that was the COVID year. The year they had to pause. Yeah. So he should have got 40 there. So he's basically a 40-point guy.
Yes. So maybe he's your second power play guy.
Right. Yeah, he can move.
I mean, I don't know. Do you think he can play that?
Absolutely. Yeah, he can move the puck. He's got a nice shot. He's got the size. He can skate well. A lot of analytics people, again, he's got the bad analytics, and I'm not an analytics guy. Like, I couldn't tell you what any of that stuff means or does. I look at the product on the ice. But he makes poor decisions in his own zone. He does turn the puck over, so that's gonna frustrate us, I feel like, as Flyers fans. But as long as he's doing what he does in the physicality aspect, I think it's a good trade. The only part of the trade I didn't love, let's just flat out say it was an overpayment. Personally, I think it was an overpayment.
For sure, I don't think anybody's disagreeing with that.
Yeah, I think it's an overpayment. But if that's what you had to pay to get him, the rumor was multiple teams were offering their first round pick. The Flyers pick was just the highest of all the first round picks that they were being offered. So,
and then if you keep that pick and you draft the guy, then you're gonna have to wait maybe 2, 3, 4 years for that guy to come up.
Hockey takes forever.
Come up.
And I don't
come up.
And I don't even care about the 2023 second round pick. We're gonna see that guy in 6 years.
Right.
I couldn't care less about that pick.
No, for sure.
So yeah, I mean, and you have a top four now of, what is it, Provorov, Ellis, Sanheim, Ristolainen. I mean, that's a gigantic upgrade from last year. Gigantic.
Yeah, for sure. And like you said, he definitely brings that physicality. He brings that, I'm not going to let you push my guys around. I'm not going to let you push my guys into my goalie like we've seen the last couple of years. And like you said, I don't even, and I think we texted a little bit about it when it first happened. I don't even care about the fighting. If that comes with it, every once in a while you got to drop the gloves, and that's what it is. I don't even care about that. I want a guy that plays tough on the boards. I want a guy that could get in the face of another guy when in the dirty areas and push guys around.
Right.
And I think he really does that, and I think he does it well.
Yeah, absolutely he does. And there's a lot of, again, people are saying he's been awful the last couple of years, but I think that is just the Buffalo factor, right? It's the Buffalo Sabres. They have a track record of players leaving there and then just having good success. I mean, you look at Ryan O'Reilly, who almost quit hockey when he was in Buffalo.
Right.
And then he went on and I think he won a Conn Smythe a year or two later. And then you had Taylor Hall, who, MVP a couple of years ago, goes to Buffalo on the 1-year contract. Was awful. Scored 1 goal, and then he went over to Boston, and he looked like the same Taylor Hall that previous. So I think Buffalo's just a shit place to play.
You could even go back to the 2000s, the mid-2000s. Danny Briere, Briere probably wasn't a top line center.
Nah, he was still good. Briere was still great. I mean, he helped those teams get to where I think they got to the Eastern Conference Finals in 2006, I think it was. He did help them get there.
But I just think he filled his role better here than in Buffalo.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah, they were using him as a top pair defenseman, or number 1 defenseman, really.
Right.
And here it doesn't have to be that. You can be the second pair guy and not rely on that much, and maybe he's just better in a bigger or in a different role, in a smaller, diminished role.
For sure.
And then the funny thing about it was when I think so when they were doing the press conference right after they announced it, Chuck Fletcher said, I'm not going to make any more moves. I'm probably going to stand pat until free agency, which is next week, whatever. But it's actually is it tomorrow? Tomorrow?
Wednesday.
No, it's Wednesday. Okay. I'm off work this week, and my days are all screwed up. So it starts Wednesday. But he said this last week when they got Ristolainen. He said, I'm done making moves. We'll wait till free agency, see what plays out. Then the very next day, I think it was the very next day, he trades Jake Voracek for Cam Atkinson in Columbus. I mean, talk about culture shock, right? I mean, this guy's been here for what, 9-10 years. I mean, it's a big trade.
That's huge, and I think both guys are not very comparable, but they're not totally different. I think Atkinson is better. He's a better goal scorer.
100%, and he shoots the puck. Like he's not afraid to shoot.
Right.
Like Jake, the thing that frustrated us all about with Jake was he wouldn't take the shot. Like he would always look for the pass, and that can be good, but not when you have an open shot. Like when you have an open shot, take it. And he would always try to be too cute, try to find the open guy, and it was never there. Went on the stick of the opponent and went the other way.
Right. And I think I texted you this stat a couple days ago too. So it literally to the number, Voracek has 100 career more games than Cam Atkinson, and Cam Atkinson has 36 more career goals than Jake Voracek.
Right.
And that's huge.
Yeah.
That's huge for a team that's looking for a goal scorer. I don't know if he's going to put up 40 goals again, but he did it 2 years ago. So, this guy's proven that he could do it.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, Columbus is the same situation as Buffalo, right? Columbus has been they've been down the last year or two, right? So like maybe he's just not, maybe he's kind of gone downhill a little bit because of the same issue as Ristolainen. Now I think Cam Atkinson had maybe, I don't want to say has more talent than Ristolainen, but I think he's a safer pick than Ristolainen is. Just because I don't even know the reason. I think he's just going to be a better impact player because he's not afraid to go to the dirty areas down low. Right. Yeah, he's just a good all around player. The one knock against him is he's small. He's like 5'8". But they'll be all right. They'll be all right, and also cleared up like $2.5 million.
Yeah, for sure. And I saw a video on Twitter of I guess it was when did they play Pittsburgh last year or the year before?
Who was that? Columbus. They played 2 or 3. That might have been the year before the bubble. Okay,
so there was a video of Cam Atkinson had 2 goals in game whatever it was against Pittsburgh, and it was just like there were 2 great goals. And the person on Twitter had quote tweeted it and said, "Could you imagine if he scored these 2 goals in this city in the playoffs? How the ceiling would be like on Broad Street, like that.
Right.
That's how good of a goal scorer he is,
right?
And just brings a lot of energy, and he's very creative with the puck, and just from videos I've seen, so I'm definitely excited. And like you said, it saves almost $2.5. You said $2.5 million,
right around there, yeah.
Okay, so. Yeah, it was like 2.75 or something, somewhere around there. That gets you enough to maybe even get a backup goalie.
Right, exactly. The Cam Atkinson does have 1 more year left, so you're going to have to worry about that year, maybe 1 year further than you would have.
And I think he's 2 years younger than Jake, right?
Jake, I'll have to look that up. I think Atkinson's 30, so that sounds about right because Jake's probably right around 32-ish. I have to look it up 1 second. Talk amongst yourselves.
Yeah, no, but it's just well, with that extra money, and if they bring in a backup goalie, what do you think are some names for us to look at as a backup goalie? Do you think Elliott could come back? Do you think they should go a different route?
Jake's actually a year younger.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's 30. Jake's 31. Atkinson's 32.
Okay. Never mind.
Yeah. So, what was the question? Goalies. I think it's very possible they bring back Elliott if he's the last resort. I don't think they want to do it because I think they want a more reliable backup. If Carter Hart goes down, I don't think they want Brian Elliott to start 3, 4, 5 games in a row. If the same thing happened last year where Hart doesn't have it for whatever reason, which if that's the case, we probably got bigger issues. So I think that's if he goes down, I think they just want somebody more reliable. But if everybody's off the market and Elliott's really the only guy left and they're familiar, I think it's possible. But I think it's unlikely. Linus Allmark from Buffalo is a name to look out for.
There's a name I heard too,
Bernier's out there.
as a rumor.
Okay, who's that?
Holpe.
Holpe. Yeah, I mean he's making a decent amount of money, I think, because it's not a free agent. You'd have to trade for him because he's in Vancouver.
Well, they're talking about things that I've seen is they're trying to find a partner to trade. If they can't find a trade partner, they're going to buy him out or something.
Oh, Holpe.
Yeah, and that's just a rumor. It's nobody verified on Twitter has said it, but it was just how those Twitter wannabe GM
Right.
breaking news guys, reporters.
Exactly.
So I think that's an interesting name if he were to be bought out.
Yeah, that's an interesting one. I wouldn't hate it as a backup to Hart. Right, like I wouldn't hate it. Bernier's another one in there. He just got traded to Carolina, but he's a pending unrestricted free agent. And then
What happened with their goalie?
with
Not to get off topic. with the
Carolina, that doesn't make any
Yeah.
sense. Okay, so Carolina was, so they had their tandem of who was it? It was a Reimer and Mrazek, right, all season. They have this young goalie, 24 years old, I think he is, Alex Nedeljkovic, right? He was a first-round pick years ago. He won World Juniors for Team USA. He just hasn't got an opportunity. He was great. I think he won a Calder Cup in the AHL. He's been really good in his development, but they haven't given him a chance. They finally give him a chance to be the number one goalie down the stretch. He does fantastic, gets nominated for a Calder, and then trades him for a third-round pick. I don't understand it at all. It makes zero sense. And the rumor is they didn't want to pay him because he was doing a contract. He was doing extension, and they didn't want to pay him. And the price apparently that he wanted was $3.5 million, which isn't a lot for a starting goalie. And Detroit, who traded for him, only paid him $3 million. Like you couldn't sign him for $3 million when the guy that you traded for, Bernier, might get what, 2.5? Like that's going to save you $500K. You traded your goalie of the future for $500K. It doesn't make any sense. Like that trade made zero sense.
Well, yeah, I mean it's Carolina, right?
Yeah. I mean they are cheap. Like this is the team that almost lost their coach a few weeks ago because they didn't want to pay him, and he's probably one of the best coaches in the league right now in Brind'Amour.
Right.
So.
No, yeah, that's absolutely crazy. I saw that on Twitter a couple days ago.
It's nuts. It doesn't make any sense.
I know it has nothing to do with what we're talking about, but I just wanted to hear what you had to say about that.
Yeah, it's insane. It's wild. It makes no sense. But hey, they're going to be in the division again next year. So if they make bad decisions, hey, that's on them.
Yeah,
I don't care.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. So and I lost my train of thought. Okay, so yeah, so the Flyers now have $12 million in cap space, give or take. You still got to sign Sanheim and Hart as their big restricted free agents. But with the year both of those guys had, they're not breaking the bank.
No, Hart's probably going to make less than $3 million, right?
Yeah.
He's probably going to make like two and a half.
Yeah, that's a number I would think. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you don't see any problems with them, like not being able to re-sign. I mean, they're restricted, but you don't see any problems with that, right?
Nah.
They're almost guaranteed to come back.
Yeah, they'll come back because
Okay.
offer sheets don't happen anymore.
Right.
And yeah, no, they're safe, and they're probably not even their top priority right now, just because restricted free agents worry about them when you get to it. They don't really go anywhere. So,
For sure.
But you still got to find a backup goalie like we were talking about. You got to find. You got to sign those two guys. You got to maybe find a third line center still. So, I mean, they have money to work with after these trades, but the lineup looks a lot better now than it did maybe 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, for sure. They're going to add depth too. I
Yeah.
mean, more than just a third line center. They're probably going to add another defenseman.
Yeah, they did. I think it was today. Re-sign Sam Morin. So he'll be like
Right.
a seventh defenseman probably, unless they find somebody better and send Moran down and let him clear waivers or do what he's got to do. But so
For sure.
and then they did draft. I'm not gonna read the whole list of the draft because the NHL draft is weird. But their first pick in the draft was a second round pick. At 46 overall, they drafted Samu Tuamala. I think I said that right. He's a Finnish guy, but apparently he's like fast as shit. Which they need a speed guy. They need a speedster. He's a dynamic player. He's one of the most dynamic in the draft. Is what I was reading. So that's I mean, hey, it seems like we got a nice little player. And Flyers don't really usually go.
No,
I mean,
sure.
I know this is kind of a thing, maybe the 80s, 90s, early 2000s. Like the Flyers rarely go Europeans. Like they just don't for whatever reason. So this is a different pick for them.
Absolutely. I mean, it's Chuck Fletcher is not one of those guys from the organization. So
Right.
it's good to get a guy. It's not like Hextall or Bobby Clark
Yep.
or
Holmgren.
Holmgren and guys like that who have been in the organization for 20, 30, 40 years. So, bringing in a guy who's not not a part of this organization for so many years, maybe those ideas work.
Right.
So, should be interesting.
Yeah, it will be. I'm actually excited for Flyers hockey. Like I didn't think it was going to happen after the way last season unfolded. I thought it was going to be a drag. Like I had serious doubts that Chuck Fletcher was going to do anything. Honestly.
Yeah.
But he's done great things so far this offseason. I'm legitimately excited for Flyers hockey.
Well, and I loved what he said after. I guess it was yesterday or today. Basically that they can't keep bringing in the same team and expecting different results every year.
Yep.
And it's refreshing to hear that, especially keeping these core guys around for so long. It's refreshing to hear somebody in the organization say, we need a change.
Oh, absolutely. It's really refreshing. So.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, let's move on from the Flyers. Got anything else Flyers related before we move on here?
I don't think so.
All right, let's move on to trivia then, shall we?
Oh, we're going early today.
Yeah, let's just get it. Let's get it out of the way. Let's do the trivia.
All right. Let's see. So we have 2 Flyers and we have 3 Eagles.
All right, give me the Eagles first.
Okay, so for our listeners, you know the spiel. Listen to the question, pause it, answer it, and then hit the play button again. All right. So the Flyers, you said, right?
Yeah. No. Let's go Eagles first.
Oh, Eagles. Okay. So in honor for training camp starting tomorrow, I decided to go 3 Eagles.
Okay, that's fine.
So all right, first question.
Yep.
The 1996 NFL Draft. The Eagles drafted Jermaine Mayberry in the first round. Ray Lewis actually went the very next pick. Who did the Eagles draft in the second round of the NFL? Yeah, the 96 NFL Draft.
The 96 draft.
The second round pick.
96. I have no clue.
I'll give you a hint. Defensive
Okay.
player.
Defensive player. See, like the first one that comes to my mind isn't it because he would have been here too late. You know what I mean? Like the first name that comes to my mind, I don't know why, is like Dawkins, but he wasn't here yet in '96, was he?
I don't know. I need an answer.
Yeah, let's go Dawkins. It's wrong.
Is that your final answer?
Yeah, it's my final answer.
You're correct.
Correct.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Ryan Dawkins.
There we go.
Yeah, it's kind of
1-0.
weird to think he's been here or started here in '96.
Dude, I thought he got drafted in like 01, 02.
No,
No?
he was out by 08.
Yeah, I guess. Look at that. All right, cool.
All right.
1-0.
So you want to keep going, Eagles?
Yeah, let's
right.
roll it.
So the 2013 Eagles, led by Nick Foles, which coined the nickname Saint Nick, helped lead them to the playoffs in Chip Kelly's first season as head coach. Can you name the team they lost to at home in the first round?
The Saints.
Is that your final answer?
Yeah, I believe so. It's the Saints, right?
Correct.
Okay,
2
there
for
we go.
2.
2-0. I'm on a roll. I'm on fire.
All right, so next, the Philadelphia Eagles marched to the Super Bowl in 2004 season with a bye in the wild card round. They beat Mike Vick and the Atlanta Falcons in the NFC Championship game to make their trip to Jacksonville. But who did the Eagles beat in the NFC divisional round?
I don't remember that. All right, so the first answer that comes to this was in 04. The first answer that comes to my mind is the Giants for whatever reason. So I'm going to say the New York Giants. Final answer.
Incorrect.
No. All right. Was it?
No.
I don't have any more. What is it? I don't have any more guesses. I got it wrong. It's fine.
The Minnesota Vikings.
The Viking. I always forget that the Vikings even exist as a franchise.
Yeah.
Is that fair?
One of the best days of our lives was
That's
the
true.
NFC Championship game of 2017 season. So
In 04, was Favre there yet in Minnesota?
no. It was still Culpepper.
It was still Culpepper. Okay.
Yeah.
When did Favre get there?
Like 08.
It was later than. Okay. Yeah, makes sense. All right.
Yep.
Fair enough.
All right.
Move on. I'm 2-1. That's fine. I'll take it.
All right. Yep. So Flyers. The Flyers reached the Stanley Cup playoffs in 2010. Who on the roster wore number 22?
Mike Knuble.
Is that your final answer?
No. I don't think. No, you know what? I think he left by then. I don't think he was on the roster. 22. It's gonna really piss me off, isn't it? 2010, you said?
Yep.
Nah, Knuble wasn't here. It's gonna really piss me off. I don't think it was him because I think he wore 13. Yeah, I'm not even gonna go there. You know what? Fuck it, Mike Knuble, because I can't be here all goddamn day. It's not right, but Knuble.
No, it's not right.
Yeah, he was gone in the early 2000s.
Were you gonna say LaPerriere?
No, was it him?
No, because he wore 13.
Who wore 13? Did he?
LaPerriere
the one
wore
guy,
13. That's why
because the one guy I was gonna guess, I thought wore 13. Dan Carcillo?
No.
Okay, who was it?
The answer is Ville Leno.
He was a star. I think he still might have the playoff record for most goals by a rookie.
It's possible.
He was nutty.
He was all over this. He was all over the ice.
He was insane. And then everybody thought he was going to have this great career. And then going back to the earlier stuff, he went to Buffalo, and his career took an absolute nosedive.
Right.
And now he's playing in Europe somewhere.
Yep.
So what am I? 50% right now?
You are 2 for 4. Yeah.
All right. There we go. One more.
All right. So last question.
Yep.
Who was the last Flyers player to win the Hart Memorial Trophy?
The last Flyer to win the Hart. So that is the MVP. Let's go with. I don't think it was Lindros. Let's go Bob Clark.
Is that your final answer?
That's my final answer.
You were right the first time. Eric.
It was Lindros? He won the Hart?
95.
Like
it might have been 93, 94.
I obviously know he was. I obviously know he was great, but like in the era of Messier and the tail end of Gretzky, like
Yager and
Yager, I didn't think he would have won one. Okay.
Yep.
All right. Yeah. Fair enough. All right. I got that wrong.
2 for 5. I don't know what that percentage is because I'm not a math guy.
It's like 20%, right? I think it's 20%.
I'll take your word for it.
We're not a math pod.
No, not a math guy.
We are not a math pod. All right. So before we get into the other stuff, I have a fun little segment I want to try out this week. All right.
We're going back to back segments, huh?
You know what? Let's save a segment for later then. All right.
No.
No. We'll tease it now.
Okay.
We'll do it later. We'll do it after the Philly stuff. Let's go into the Philly stuff because there's really not much of the Phillies because they're really starting to piss me off right now. Just because they they gave us a little bit of hope, and then they do what they do and they lose 4 of the next 8, I think, or 4. They went 500 over the next 4 or 5 games. They're just a 500 club. They're losing the night against the Nationals. They're just a 500 team.
Well, that's what they've been all year.
Yeah, true.
They've shown us that they can compete, and then they showed us they can't compete, and then they showed us that they can compete, and then they showed us they can't compete. So they are a 500 team. Somehow they're still in it.
They keep showing me that I don't want them to make any moves. Don't even bother. There's no point. There's no fucking point.
I hear you. Selfishly, the only reason I want them to make moves is because it's fun. But I hear where you're coming from. I think I agree.
Well, I just
think
don't want them to
just sell.
Yeah, yes, but who would you sell? Honestly, who would you sell?
Segura.
Okay. What would you trade Wheeler?
No. I don't think so.
Okay.
Only because of the GM. I want to give the guy. We talked about it 2 weeks ago, I think it was. I want to give the guy a full off season, with every option possible. Uh, I'm not totally sold on because that's the thing is I think they're maybe 2 pitchers and a center fielder away from being a good team, not a 500 team. I don't think they could win a World Series, but if they could bring in 2 pitchers, a closer, and a center fielder, I mean, we're talking here.
Yeah, but like worry about that stuff in the offseason. Right now, there's no point. Like you're just gonna keep losing games.
No.
You're gonna win a few, then you're gonna lose a few. That's just what this team is.
No, I completely understand, but that's why I'm not trading Wheeler.
Oh, right. No, I got you.
I mean, maybe you trade Segura, and I don't know.
I mean, does McCutchen have any value right now? Like maybe a little bit.
His average is like in the 220s or 230s or whatever it is.
Yeah, but for like a bench guy, I mean, you're not going to get anything good. You might get a B level prospect. Like you're not going to get anything special.
Right.
I mean, who else? I mean, Harper's obviously not going anywhere. JT's not going anywhere.
Do you think you get anything for Didi?
Sure. Yeah, no, I think you could. Absolutely.
I don't think you can get much, but I think you can sell them.
Yeah.
Even
there's 2 guys.
Even to an American League team.
Do you think? I mean, we know how bad this bullpen's been. Do you think anybody in the bullpen has any value, like a Neris or Alvarado? Like, probably not. I mean, maybe not as a high leverage closer type, but maybe if somebody wants a long relief guy that they can kind of come in and just handle the load for an inning or 2. Maybe I don't know.
I think Alvarado has some value because he was good before he came here.
Right.
He was a very decent, very good pitcher, relief pitcher before he came here. Not only does
he hasn't been completely horrible. Like he's had moments. He's had moments of being decent.
Right.
But that's really all it's been, decent.
Right.
Yeah. So
I don't know if Neris. I mean, I'm sure you can get AA prospects that probably will never see the light of day in the MLB for Neris and some of these guys, but you're getting rid of money. You're getting rid of guys that probably aren't as good as they thought they were. I don't know. I really don't. I really don't know about this Phillies team anymore. I really don't because they, it's such a seesaw with them.
Yeah, that's all. It's been like that all year. It's really been like that the last 3 years.
It's amazing. Yeah, it's amazing how they're still in it. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, it's becoming less and less likely. Like they're 4 games back, and I know there's still a ton of time. Like it's July 26th. Like they still got 2+ months of this. So
and it's funny because at the beginning of last week, I think it was, or the end of last weekend, they were like a win and a Mets loss away from being tied for first.
Right.
And now a week and some change later, they're almost 5 games out.
Right. The Mets win a couple games. They lose 2 to the Yankees. Then they split with the Braves.
Right.
They're a mess. Like they just can't. They can't be consistent when it comes to wins. Like they're consistently inconsistent. Like that's just what they are.
No, for sure. And it's like you can't even get guys like JT, Harper, and Nola to perform great at the same time either.
Yeah,
like
I mean
Nola pitched unbelievable.
Lights
on
out
Sunday, right?
Lights out. Yeah.
So it's frustrating. It's so frustrating.
Right, because I mean, like this team has talent, which I think is the most frustrating part. Is they have talent. When they're all working together, they work great. But again, like you said, they just don't work together. It's really bizarre. Like I don't know what the next step is in the offseason. I mean, maybe you said it. You find a center fielder. I know they were linked to like Buxton at one point. He's probably going to get paid too much money for his age and his injury proneness, if that's a word. But
it's going to take a lot to get him.
Well, he's a free agent, isn't he?
Was a free agent at the end of the year.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. At the end of the season. Oh, not right now.
There are rumors that they've contacted the Twins.
They don't have enough to get him though.
No, they don't.
That's
what I'm saying. I don't. I don't know.
And they're still linked to like Chris Bryant, Kimbrel. Like they don't have enough to get these guys. They can't compete with the high teams in the league.
Yeah, I mean, it's this whole season has been, yeah, I don't know. Like that, like that's the definition of the 2021 Phillies is, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't
That's
know.
what it is. It is what it is.
No,
one
you're
minute
right.
they make you feel like they have a shot to win the division and at least compete in the playoffs, and then the next minute it's like we're 4 games out, and it's over.
Right.
So
Yeah.
my answer is I don't know.
You just don't know what to do. That's really all it boils down to. So. Oh, you ready? You done talking Phillies? Because there's really not much else we can say here.
Yes, please save me from talking about these Phillies.
All right. So let me switch screens here. So we have a little fun little game I want to play. So did you see, you didn't see Space Jam yet, did you?
I wanted to over the weekend, but it's been a crazy weekend. I didn't get around to it. I do want to watch it still. I've heard mixed reviews, just like you.
It's horrendous. Horrendous. But we have a fun little game we can play. I mean, I could talk about the movie afterwards, but I feel like the reviews, there might be a spoiler. Hopefully, I don't say any spoilers or anything like that. But we have a little game. I went on Rotten Tomatoes, found some reviews. They're fucking hilarious. Let me just say that they're funny. So I wanted to read them. Little game that we like to call Rotten Reviews. Look at that, little clever play on words there. And I have something little. Let's see if I get some music to set the mood. Let's see if this will work. Can you hear that? Not yet. Can you hear that? Set the mood a little bit.
Yep.
There we go. All right, let's set the mood. Some Looney Tunes music. All right, here we go. Let me see here. Let me get the first one up. Live podcasting here. It is a film that has no reason to exist except as a vehicle for reminding people that various pieces of content, all of them merchandisable, are available for instant streaming now.
Oh.
All right, here's another one. It feels less like a movie than a sales pitch, where Warner Brothers really wants to remind you that it owns everything from Casablanca to Game of Thrones, which I didn't even know they own Game of Thrones. But again, Space Jam, let me know that. So there you go.
Right.
In the pantheon of misguided sequels and reboots, A New Legacy is right up there with Paul Blart Mall Cop 2, and Little Fockers.
That was a good one. I like that one.
It's hilarious. Here's the thing about basketball. It is extremely watchable. Here's the thing about Space Jam: A New Legacy. It's not. It's phenomenal. These reviews just don't stop. Let me find the next one. Hold on. Bear with me here. Where is it? Okay, so the title of this review is just laughable by itself. Then I'll go on and read the next review. I wish I would have gouged my eyes out with an ice cream scoop and plugged my ears with them.
Oh, that sounds painful.
It's trash like this that makes Game of Thrones Season 8 look like it had a great script with tight narrative logic.
All right.
LeBron, just only ever play basketball. You don't need anything else. Isn't that the theme in this 2-hour-long commercial for your ego?
Yeah. Oh, boy.
Okay, LeBron is not the GOAT. This movie was worse than Shaquille's Shazam. Remember that one?
Yeah.
Shaquille O'Neal. LeBron James is a big tryhard. Should just stick to flopping in the NBA. And this movie belongs on Moron Mountain.
Okay.
Call back to the original. I only got a couple more. LeBron's latest flop. There's another one-off
there you
flop. Go. I, for one, welcome our Chinese overlords.
Oh.
It might be a low blow a little bit.
Yeah.
Stupid dialogues. Felt really bad for Don Cheadle. It wasn't funny at all. They didn't use the characters properly. I literally fell asleep in the middle. I am not kidding.
Nah.
Movie was so bad it made me sick. Title speaks for itself. Don't pay for this movie. Garbage.
Yeah.
And that's all I got for you on Rotten Reviews. So the movie sucked. I will say that. So I mean, again, you can watch it. It's fine. It's whatever. But it did feel like one giant commercial for Warner Brothers. Like that's really what it did. There was like first of all, why is any Space Jam 2 hours long?
Yeah.
Like 2 hours is insanely long. I think the first one was an hour and 20, I think, or an hour 25.
Yeah, it's probably about an hour 25, an hour 30. Um, let me just say this: I hate LeBron. I hate everything about LeBron. Um, but let's call it what it's a kids movie. I
So
haven't
yeah,
seen it. I
no.
haven't
So
seen
is
it.
the
I
first.
haven't seen
So
it
is the first one. So is the first
for
one.
sure. And if you go
So is
back
the
and
first
watch the
one.
first one, it's not that good.
I actually did. I rewatched it Thursday night, Wednesday
It's
night.
not that.
Before I
It's
watched
not that good. It doesn't age well.
it, it doesn't age well, but it was good at the time. And now maybe it's a little
Well,
different
when you were
because
a kid,
I was an actual kid, right? So I enjoyed it probably more. But like no, because at one point, first again, it's a 2 hour movie. The first like you don't see a Looney Tune until maybe 35 minutes in. Like it was the longest setup in the world.
well, it's
Um,
probably kind of like the first maybe not 35 minutes, but the first 20 or 25 of the first one, you probably don't see a Looney Tune.
maybe, but they
Look,
had
look,
there was
I
and
completely
then
understand.
there was literally a montage for like maybe a solid half hour, 45 minutes of of them trying to go and find all the different Looney Tunes because they're out of Toon World. They're finding all these different Looney Tunes, and they're all in the Warner Brothers universe. Where that's when it's like a Warner Brothers commercial. It's literally like 45 minutes of them going to these different movies and in and out of these different worlds, Game of Thrones, this that. So it felt like one giant the first half of the movie was to blow LeBron, and the second half of it was to promote Warner Brothers. That's all it was.
No, for sure. Like I said, I'm not a LeBron fan, but I'm just taking it with a grain of salt that it's a kids movie. So like, how good is it really going to be? And it's not, was it? It technically wasn't a remake. It was like a
I don't even know if I could call it a sequel. Like, I guess technically it was. They mention a couple times. They mention about the first game with Michael Jordan, and then I don't know if I want to say too much because I know you're planning on watching it. But they had a very clever moment with a Michael Jordan. I'll just
right.
say that. I'll leave it there. I don't want to spoil anything. But like it had maybe 2 to 3 funny okay moments, and the rest of it I was just bored.
Right. But like I'm just saying, it's a kids movie. How good is it really going to be in general?
Like the thing is, I expected. I actually tweeted this out. I don't remember the exact verbiage I used, but I said, I wasn't expecting much. I expected the movie to suck. It was way worse than I expected.
Yeah.
Way worse. So
Yeah.
and maybe I'm just being harsh. I don't know.
Right. I think I'm going into it already expecting that it's going to suck because it's a kids movie, and I don't like LeBron. And as
Oh,
much as I
you're
like the first one as a
right.
kid, I kind of I don't really care for it as an adult. Like it's not like The Sandlot to me is like one of the greatest sports movies ever, even though I'm an adult. But like Space Jam, it's as I get older, I kind of care less for it.
Right.
So, I'm just going into it prepared that way.
And especially more so now that I just trashed it for the last 10, 15
Yeah,
minutes.
for sure. Look, I'm probably gonna hate it because I hate LeBron, but like, I don't know. I might not watch it.
Yeah, like not watch it and let me know if you feel the same that I do. Because like LeBron, yeah, he's not an actor. We know that. He was extremely bad in this, but I actually don't think he was that bad in the Amy Schumer movie Trainwreck. He was in Trainwreck. I actually thought he was pretty good in that movie.
I didn't. I actually, if we're gonna continue this segment, didn't like that movie. Yeah, didn't like that movie at all. I turned it off.
I loved it.
First. I can't stand her, but
I'm not a huge fan of her, but Bill Hader's hilarious.
Yeah, I love Bill Hader. I couldn't get through the first like 15 minutes, and I just called it quits.
Is that when she was getting railed by John Cena in the beginning, right?
That's not why I shut it off, but it's just she's just not funny to me. I've heard it was a funny movie. It's just I love comedies. I love comedies. It's just I don't know. I just can't.
I actually like Trainwreck.
I just can't do it.
Yeah. We'll have to bring Rotten Reviews back because that was a fun segment, fun little segment.
For sure.
So let's move on to the Eagles then, right? Because I don't think we had anything else. Yeah, sorry. So let's move into the Eagles. They signed the guy that you've been on board with probably like the last 2 months, maybe longer.
Yes,
you've wanted this guy. You've said it early on from the show. Cornerback Steven Nelson. I mean, they got your guy. What can you tell us about Steven Nelson and what he brings to this team?
He is a reliable second cornerback, CB2. He's a ball magnet. He had a down year last year, but you know it could help the Eagles in a sense of buying him cheap, and if he performs well, this could really help the team. And I don't think they make this signing without the intentions of, okay, if he has even a decent year or a very good year, we're going to bring him back long term after this. I think I said that a couple of weeks ago when we first brought the name up. Is you sign him for that 1 year, and if he turns out to have a good year, he's 28 years old.
Right.
You keep him around. You play him with him and Slayer, good buddies. He's young. He's a good cornerback. Like I said, he had a down year last year, but I'm willing to bring him into this team, and if he could be a CB2, then why not try it?
Yeah, and last week when we had the Mac brothers on, I forget which one of them. It might have been John, or it might have even been you. We asked a question like, "Yeah, you have Darius Slay on one side. Who the fuck's on the other?" Just got our answer.
Right.
It shores up the defense.
And you know what else it does? If you put him at the number 2 spot, you could put Avonte Maddox back in that nickel spot, back in that
right.
Third cornerback spot, and that's his position. That's his natural position. And you have him to play safety if for whatever reason, because this team doesn't have injuries. But that was sarcasm. But if a safety goes down, you could throw Avonte back there, and you're not finding another guy off the street working at Popeyes to play cornerback.
Right.
And you bring in this guy, you put Avonte at the nickel, and you don't have to throw the rookie McPherson in right away. You can develop him a little bit to be a nickel, and if Avonte doesn't work out, then you part ways with him, and hopefully this guy you drafted in the 4th round or whatever it was, 5th round, he works out. I think it was the 4th round, but hopefully that'll work out. So one move, it's a domino effect. One move helps another, helps another, helps another.
Right. And I know the last few weeks, whenever we talk Eagles, we say like they're probably good chance they're not winning the division. Does this change your mindset on what the Eagles can do this year?
Probably not this year, because I still think they need linebackers. I still think they need to get younger on the offensive and defensive line. I think their safeties are a little questionable still, but maybe it gets them another win or two, and maybe they are a wild card team. Or, I mean, it's all gonna depend on how Hurts plays.
Right.
It definitely helps them. Maybe, like I said, maybe it gets them another win or two. I like it for the long run. And not even just so much for this year. Like I said, if he has a decent year, you bring him back, and you have him for the next 2, 3, 4 years.
Yeah, but like in this division, a win or two could get them in. A win or two extra. You know what I mean?
For sure.
So
and that's the thing is, like, I think Dallas is very good. I think if Dak stays healthy, they're good enough to win the division. I think they can get 10, 11 wins. Then you look at Washington, and Washington, I think they have a great defense, arguably the best defense in the league. One of the best defenses probably in the last 10 years or so. But who's throwing the ball? Who's the quarterback?
Right.
And then you look at the Giants, I think they're a hot fucking mess. So, like, why not? Like I said, maybe they're a wild card. I don't know. I have to see it before I could say they're good or bad. What if Hurts plays great and the defense plays well enough that they can make the playoffs? They're not going to win a Super Bowl, but who knows? I don't think they're good enough, but let Hurts go out there and prove me wrong. Let that coach go out there, Sirianni, and prove me wrong.
Right. Yeah, so, I mean, it's like there's still questions around this team, right? Like, is Hurts still? Is Hurts good? Is it going to improve? And then there's this whole rumor that I think came out today, right? The Deshaun Watson stuff. That they still want to trade him. I think he said he's reporting the camp, right? They expect to see him there tomorrow. But they're still looking to trade him. I don't know what the price is. Apparently it's high. Do you entertain that move at all, knowing what you know about his situation and what it might cost? Would you do it if it's cheaper? Like, what is your opinion on Deshaun Watson?
As much as I like him as a player, and I would love for him to be an Eagle by his play on the field, I don't think I could get behind it anymore. I really don't. It's just more and more.
I respect it.
I'm not trying to get political because for some reason these things kind of get political.
Yeah, that's whatever.
But
We can talk about whatever we want here. That's fine. I don't care.
yeah. So you know, I just can't get behind. I can't get behind this, and we've said on the show before a couple weeks ago or a few weeks ago, whatever it was, maybe a month ago, that we brought Vic in, and like Vic did really bad things, but like at the end of the day, like unfortunately they were dogs. You know what I mean? Like these are human beings, and I would never hurt a dog or anything like that, but like these are human beings, these are women, like these are not, I don't know what I'm trying to say here, but
yeah, and like the thing is, I hear a lot of people saying like, oh, if he's proven innocent, right? Like maybe I can get behind him. There's no, I'm not sure it's possible. Again, I'm not saying he definitely did or didn't do it. I don't know if it's possible at this point to be proven innocent.
It's not. Even if he didn't do it.
Right. Like court of public opinion is everything right now. And in the eyes of a large majority, he did it, and nothing's going to prove that. Now, he might not necessarily get proven guilty, but he's not going to get proven innocent at this point.
Right. He's either going to be proven guilty or settle.
Right. I'm a little surprised that hasn't happened yet. I'm surprised that hasn't happened yet, honestly.
That's what it's going to be. He's going to pay out however much he owes, and that's how it's going to go, and he's going to get 6 games or 8 games, whatever it is.
You think he gets suspended?
Yeah, I do.
Do you think when the season starts, he is? I know I said this probably a month or two ago. Do you still think he is the Texans quarterback when the season starts?
I do.
It's hard because go ahead. You can say it.
Only because I think even if he does settle, I don't think he's going to get traded this year. No, is he going to be the Texans quarterback and play week 1? I don't think so. But I still think he's going to be on Houston's roster.
Yeah, I think it's going to be tough because I think they are
a free agent.
Bro, I think they are trying to trade him. Like that's a report. But with all the baggage and stuff that comes with it, I don't know. Like there can't be many people, if any, that are going to pay that price that's going to take to get all the baggage, to get all the backlash, and you're going to pay three first round picks. Like, I just don't see any team doing that.
I don't even see any team doing that to begin with. So, I think that's a little insane.
No, I see some, like, if they're just trying to get rid of Deshaun Watson because they figured he's not gonna, be anything, with this franchise. We understand he's not gonna, be our quarterback of the future. We just want to get this stuff and deal with it and let it go and forget that it ever happened. And they offer a team, hey, we'll give you Deshaun Watson for a 5th round pick. I think somebody will do it.
Well, I guess, yeah, but
it's the NFL. Somebody will do it.
Yeah,
Greg Hardy got a job. Tyreek Hill's still doing his thing. Like,
for sure,
people forgive if the price is right and the talent's right.
No. I completely. I'm just saying the three first round picks. I don't think.
I agree.
Even in a normal year, if nothing happened, that's a lot because it's apparently. I think it was either Trey Wingo or somebody big tweeted that it'll be 3 first round picks, 2 more higher draft picks, meaning 2nd, 3rd round pick, and an NFL ready player. So
yeah,
that's insane.
Yeah, it is insane for all the baggage and everything that comes with it. I don't see anybody paying that. I agree with that. So, but I mean, it's amazing too because like he's still a talented dude. Like he's still a top 5 to 8 quarterback in the league. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So I'm really curious where this thing goes. But I do. That actually kind of reminded me. I know that shouldn't remind me of this, but the whole quarterback drama. Apparently, Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers are like good now, and he's gonna sign a contract.
Yeah, that's how crazy. How crazy is that 3 days ago he was never gonna be a Green Bay Packer ever again. Fuck that franchise and this, that, and the other. And now all of a sudden, oh yeah, things are good.
Things are good. We're gonna extend them until I think the end of this season. I think it was, or the end of the next season, something like that. Yeah. So
it's crazy. And now that opens up. I don't know if you've heard see any of the Devontae Adams stuff.
I
that
did.
he wasn't going to talk to them about an extension at all as of Thursday of last week, and now all of a sudden on Monday, things are all great with Rodgers. Now he wants to be there long term. It's crazy.
So, do you think he was pissed off about the Rodgers situation? So he said, "Well, you guys are mistreating your franchise quarterback that's been here for 15 years. If you guys aren't going to treat him right, what the fuck am I doing here?"
Yeah.
You think it has anything to do? I think it's related.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
And I think he threatened them into this also, where
Yeah.
I'm not going to stop. He's the best receiver in the league, top 3 receiver in the league.
Yeah. Absolutely.
He says, "I'm not going to extend. So therefore, you have to fix things with Rodgers, or you're going to lose both of us."
Right.
So
And they can't afford that. I mean,
no.
the roster is really good, and maybe not like great, because without Rodgers, I don't know if this is a playoff team, and with Rodgers, it's a top 3 team in the league. That's just how in the conference. That's just how good Rodgers is. But it's a wild situation. But
Yeah, and no, go ahead.
no, I was gonna switch topics now. So finish your thought. You're good.
No, and I don't don't want to go too far into it, but yeah, I don't know. It's I have a little bit of trouble with so I don't know if I said it on the pod or not. I don't know if I told you off air, on air, whatever it was. But they had 10 first-round picks. Their first-round picks in the last 10 years.
Yeah, you did say it on the pod, I think.
Yeah, have been defensive players except for one, and that one is Jordan Love, a quarterback. So 10 straight picks. Only 9 of them are defensive players in the first round, and one of them is now your backup quarterback. So
yeah, is your eventual replacement essentially.
Right. So why wouldn't you be frustrated?
Yeah, absolutely.
So, I'm happy for fantasy purposes.
Yeah,
I always love watching Green Bay on Sunday Night Football, and
dude, Rodgers is great.
Watching Rodgers, and
yeah, when he gets to work, dude, nobody, and like, he's just so good. He's so talented. He really is. Like, just the way that he can sling it. But that doesn't remind me, Eagles wise, about mending relationships. Apparently, like, everything's good with maybe not good, but Zach Ertz has gotten over the issues, and now he's going to report, and everything's good. He's probably going to stay on the team, and it's weird, man.
Yeah, it's crazy. I don't know. It's just all of a sudden, things are, rainbows and sunshine.
There he is. Yeah, but it's wild. Wasn't there a rumor that Goddard's now not going to sign an extension or something? Did I see that? Is that true?
I haven't seen anything like that.
Apparently, he wants to get paid like a top flight tight end, and they're not willing to do that.
Well, if that's the case, I think that's absolutely crazy, because this is going to be Ertz's last year anyway. So you might as well pay the guy, because he's going to be your top tight end.
Yeah,
next year.
He will be. Right. Yeah,
but
it's just weird, the whole Ertz thing. I which is crazy, because the Merrill Reese had the report that like he was all but traded to the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah.
What happened to that? They just weren't offering enough.
Well, he heard Buffalo. He heard Buffalo and said, "Never mind."
You know what? I'm rethinking this a little bit.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if you ever saw it. Remember when Jordan Matthews got traded there for Ronald Darby? Yep. When Matthews came back, I guess a year or 2 or 3 later, he said, "Yeah, when I got traded to Buffalo, like, I wasn't ecstatic about it, but like I went, and like he said, literally the only thing to do is nothing. Like you literally do nothing in Buffalo, and like he said, that's why my wife's pregnant, because like there's nothing else to do." So
hey, that's
who
fine.
wants to go to Buffalo?
Right. Dude, we talked about it earlier in the episode with like Rasmus Ristolainen and the Buffalo Sabres, and how nobody wants to play there because it's a shit organization. Maybe it's just the city of Buffalo. Yeah. Maybe that's all it is. Maybe it's just Buffalo.
It has to be, right? I mean, the Bills are a very good team. They're arguably, a top 3 AFC team. Could possibly
Allen
be in the Super
is
Bowl.
A stud. Like, I don't know if he can continue what he did last year, because he was such on an outrageous level. But dude, he took so many strides to being like an elite quarterback in the league.
Yeah.
When like 2 or 3 years ago, he was like going to be a laughing stock. Like, people literally made fun of Josh Allen, and he was slinging it all over the place. It was crazy.
For sure. for sure.
So, do you have anything else before we wrap up here? Do you have anything Sixers wise? There's really not much going on until Simmons gets traded, if he does get traded. What is USA Basketball do? They lose yet again?
They lost to France last night.
They lost again?
Yeah, that was their first game. Like their first, the first couple were exhibition. This was their first like real game. Like
So they lost 2 exhibition and the first regular like round robin game. That's hilarious.
Yeah. I mean,
So what do you got, Sixers?
I don't know if you saw. I think it was Lillard who said it. He said, "Yeah, it's crazy. These guys don't play as hard as they do in the NBA. Like as hard as they play for their country. Like, and the rules are a lot different there too. Like, it's a
lot
little
more
harder
physical.
to score. Yeah, it's a little harder to score.
They don't call fouls as much.
A lot of people
From
thought
what I've
Luka was
seen.
crazy. Yeah, a lot of people thought Luka was crazy when he came into the league. He said, "I'm excited to come here." He said, "It's easier to score here
All right.
in America.
Yeah.
because you
Absolutely.
get everything."
Yep. So if basketball was played, I haven't watched much of the Olympic basketball yet, but from what I've seen and highlights and different things, if basketball was played like that here, I probably would watch it more, honestly.
If it's less scoring, I don't know if more people would watch it.
I'm not saying more people, but I would personally, because just because the games are higher scoring the way they are here, but like I don't like seeing whistles every 12 to 15 seconds, which is what the NBA is, because there's fouls all over the place. So if they let them play a little more, I think I would like that.
I hear you.
So, but you got anything Sixers wise before we get out of here?
No, it's just I want to publicly congratulate Ben Simmons for working on his birthday like every other fucking human being on the face of the earth. But yeah, hopefully we get to see him traded soon.
You're talking about, I think there was a post of him like working out in the gym on his birthday.
Yeah.
So like, you're at work trying to get better. Well, hopefully trying to get better. I don't know if being in a gym is trying to get better. I mean, I would rather see you work on your free throws and your 3-pointers and things like that. But
I don't want to get too much into it, but he can shoot free throws. It's just when it matters the most.
It's mental.
It's in between the ears. That's what it is. There are people that work at the Wells Fargo Center that say that they've seen him take 1,000 free throws a week.
Right.
It's all in between the ears.
Then maybe he should go to like the Ben Franklin Parkway, just put like a hoop out there while everybody's driving past, walking past, and just have just practice there. Got eyes all over the place.
Or just trade him and we'll forget about it.
Move on. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's probably what's going to happen.
So that's all I really got about him, and I really don't want to talk about him.
Yeah, I mean, apparently Bradley Beal is a name people are mentioning. I mean, what would you trade for? I mean, obviously you trade for Bradley Beal. I mean, if it meant giving up Simmons, what else would you give up in a trade for Bradley Beal?
I saw something today that said if they trade Westbrook, he might request a trade if they trade Westbrook.
Right.
To be quite honest with you, I really don't see it happening this year with him. I just don't see anybody.
With Beal?
Yeah, I just don't see them trading him this year. I really don't. As for what I'd give up for him, everything except Embiid. Literally, I mean, I've been on record saying on the pod that him, Levine, or Lillard, sign me up no matter what it takes.
Take everything on our roster.
Yeah,
we'll keep Joel. Take literally everybody else.
Anything.
Our next 7 years of first round picks. We don't need them.
You could take the mascot. You could take the
who
announcer.
Is their mascot now? Who is their mascot now?
Is it Franklin?
Is it Franklin? Who?
I don't know.
Who was the blue bunny back in the day? Who was that?
That's who it is now.
Who was?
It was a gray bunny back in the day.
Gray. It was gray, and now it's blue.
Hip Hop, I think was his name.
Hip Hop. That's who it was. That's what I'm thinking of. He was awesome, and now another guy sucks, but that's fine.
No. I hated Hip Hop. I like the guy now.
Really? Nah, I was the opposite.
No, for sure. It's for sure the opposite of what you're saying.
No, it's not.
No, it is.
I'm right.
No,
that's fine. That's fine. Listen,
it's fine. You're wrong.
I gotta be wrong every once in a while.
Did you know the guy who played Hip Hop was actually like a Knicks fan?
Was he
like
really?
The guy underneath the man. Yeah. So like, I'm not dropping names here, but my brother-in-law went to a Sixers game years ago, and they were like I guess hip hop was like running around the thing, and like he went up to my brother-in-law and was like, he started messing with him, and my brother-in-law was like, "Yeah, I heard you're a Knicks fan." And like 5 minutes, he left, and like 5 minutes later, he came back, and they silly stringed the shit out of him.
Really?
Yeah. So the
That's funny.
I have some inside sources here to
There you go.
confirm that he is a Knicks fan, but
Do you don't think it's the same guy that's doing Franklin, is it? Probably not.
I don't
right?
know. I don't know. Probably
They
probably is, but I don't know.
Probably is. Knicks fan, huh?
Yeah.
Isn't there? Wasn't there rumors that Dame apparently wanted to come here or something, or is that old news?
Well, a couple of weeks ago, there were rumors that he was going to officially request a trade from the Portland Trailblazers. There's been nothing really that I've seen that come out. He could just be waiting until the Olympics are over.
Is that why things have
he
been
is the starting point guard?
Is that why things have been so quiet because of the Olympics in the NBA?
I think
Like
so.
you're seeing as soon as the season ended in hockey, now granted there was an expansion, so it's a little different. But as soon as the hockey season ended, dude, there was fucking chaos, moves left and right.
Yeah.
Things have been really quiet in the NBA.
Yeah, I think it has to do with the Olympics. And I think free agency starts soon.
Does it?
And usually in the NBA, nothing happens until free agency starts. So like in a regular year, it usually ends like the third week in June, the season, and then
Right.
free agency starts July like 4th or 5th. So you get those 3 weeks of really nothing going on, 2-3 weeks of really nothing going on. That's kind of where we are right now. So
Starts
when
August.
free agency starts
August 2nd. So a week from
Yeah.
today.
Yeah. So yeah, there's about 2 or 3 weeks where really nothing goes on, and then once free agency starts, you'll start seeing guys sign here, sign there, traded here, traded there, all that fun stuff. There was actually a trade today.
Was there? Who was that?
Yeah, it was New Orleans and Memphis. It wasn't anything crazy. It was like Valanciunas for Bledsoe. It was
Right.
got NBA players, but like not anything
bench
special.
guys.
Yeah.
Right. Now, and I know everybody's talking about the trade market with Dame, with Beal. Is there any way to improve this lineup in the free agency market? Is anybody available that's really impactful for this team to take them to the next level?
Probably not in the free agency. In my opinion, there's rumors that they're interested in Kyle Lowry.
Okay.
I don't really want Lowry. A lot of people say like if Lowry was on this team when they were rumored to trade for him at the deadline, if he was on this team, they probably win the series against Atlanta. You might be right, but like
yeah, I mean, in Toronto, he was in Toronto, right? I mean, he was probably their
Yeah.
second best player, and they won a championship. Here, he'd be like
no,
the
he's
what?
probably
The
the
fourth?
third. He's
Was
probably
it?
the third best player. Siakam
Here-
was probably their second best.
Was okay? Here, he would probably be like the fourth best player.
No, he'd be their
right?
second best player.
But would he be their second best player?
Yeah,
He's that good.
Yeah,
Okay.
I don't. That's the problem. Is that
Right.
he would be their second best player.
Okay. All right. Yeah, that makes sense then.
I mean, I like Lowry. I just not on this team.
Right.
Especially if you're keeping Ben. But yeah, I'd have to really look at the list of free agents.
Right.
But everything that I'm seeing with them trying to get their team better is through trade.
Right.
So
Yeah, I mean, just because I think it's just about getting Ben Simmons out of here.
Yeah.
Like it's so in order to get, you're not just going to give him away for free, obviously. So in order to, the only way to make your lineup better is by getting rid of him and bringing somebody else. So the trade really makes the most sense to improve this team. So
right. Yeah, and there's a couple guys like Kawhi's out there this year, but there's rumors that he's going to opt out and then get a new deal from the Clippers. So like
right.
and plus I don't really want that guy anyway, but
Kawhi, really? Why not?
Yeah, that's a different conversation for a different time. I just think he's soft. I think
Really?
I think he's a great player, but like he takes off all the time and like he just
Are you talking?
isn't really
Are you
team
talking
first anymore?
Are you talking soft from a gameplay like physicality angle or like mentally? Because he seems like a mentally tough dude.
No, I think that when you play, how many games you play? 82 games in a year. I think if you sit like, he sits like 20 or 25 games a year.
Everybody does that. All the stars do that in the NBA.
LeBron doesn't sit 20, 25 games a year. Kawhi does.
Maybe okay.
So
fair enough.
it's just I don't like. I think he's a little cocky. Look, I think he's a great player. I think he's 5 years ago, 3 years ago. I think he was a top 3 player in the league. He's probably the best two-way player in the league besides Durant. But I don't know. I think that there's a lot of baggage that comes with him now, and I just kind of don't really want that.
Right.
I think that he gave up on his team this year in the playoffs because he wanted a new deal. So I just don't really want that on my team, especially with Embiid.
Okay. Fair enough. All right. Well, you got anything Sixers related before we get out of here? I had one more thing to mention,
No,
but if you need to finish up, go for it.
No, we can
wrap up here. All right.
Yep.
Well, over the weekend we did open up our merch store online. So for anybody to check that out, it's got really cool stuff on there. Like the hoodies look sharp. The gray and the black are probably my 2 favorite.
Yeah.
But we got like 4, 5, 6 different colors on there. We got cool cups, water bottles. The glass pint. The pint glass, dude, is nuts. I think I'm gonna order one.
Yeah,
I think I'm gonna order one. I'll have it like sitting right here when we start. I already have this mug. I don't know if anybody can see that fired up mug that I got for Father's Day. So there's that. But yeah, just a lot of cool stuff on there. You can check that out. We posted the link on Facebook and Twitter. So click that link. Check out the cool stuff. It's cool shirts. We got like baby onesies, toddler shirts. It's really really cool stuff over there. So check out the merch store. We'd appreciate that, and let's just get this thing out of there, out there, and let people know who we are, and let them know where to find us. That's we're just trying to grow this thing. So,
absolutely.
So, all right, let's get out of here, Dom. It was another fun week. And everybody can check us out on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram at Fired Up Podcast. Listen to us on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Join us on Monday nights live. We'll be here same bat time, same bat channel next week. We start at 8:45 ish, 9 o'clock in between then. Everybody can check us out, and we will see you guys next week.